Chalo, Prasad, Prasad.
And we are live. And we are live. Episode 16 of the Panenka View is here right immediately after Liverpool versus Manchester United. And to top it off, the Klopp's team are on top, like we like to say, Cop on top. And we have a very enthusiastic Liverpool fan here, Ajay, who's excited to be on the podcast. Ajay, we have a lot of questions coming up your way. And rightly predicted the way Jose would field his team. Puneet will be helping us to assess that performance from United. Another abject performance, as Supro would say. But they obviously not a totally abject performance. But let's get straight to Ajay.
Yeah.
And Ajay, take us through those 90 minutes, which will be like 900 for you in the entire week, which we will be seeing. So take us through that game.
Okay. Firstly, let's start with the team selection by Klopp, which was absolutely spot on. He got everything tactically sound, and really everything from him was spot on. That midfield of Fabinho and Wijnaldum in a double pivot, and deciding to move Mane back to his original position. He played at right wing in his first season with Liverpool in 2016-17, and he was very effective there. And the decision to move him back there, overloading that particular right hand side of our side, that was really crucial. And playing Keita in Coutinho's role in 2016, Coutinho played on the left wing, and Keita was started there today, and that worked because Salah we knew was going to be heavily marked up front. So the onus was on Firmino and Mane to produce, and they did. Coming back to the goal, what a pass from Fabinho. He's had a world-class game, a midfield performance for the ages, and we've never really had a DM like him since Mascherano left. And this game really showed his value. He's been very good all season except that Arsenal game, but today performed really well. He didn't allow United to counter at all, stopped attacks. He was really dominant, and he sprayed passes all over the field. He started attacks for us, and one such lovely uh, aerial through ball found Mane, and what a finish! Uh, yeah, he made up for all those misses versus Napoli in the week, and yeah, a very good first goal.
And so much space was afforded, right? From no covering him, and so much space for Fabinho to actually put that ball, and no one. Ashley Young could have done something more in the box, close Mane, but that goal was all United work going down the drains after the first few couple of good they were getting bodies behind, and suddenly that one throw in and no one closing in on Fabinho and no one closing in on Mane. And
That is one of the disadvantages of playing a low block team, playing a low block strategy. You get so deep, you really play all your players in your box in your own defensive third. This is what happens. They were more looking to stop our front three rather than our midfield because they knew any shot from that area they would save it, and they didn't really account for Mane's run. I doubt any defense would have coped up with that Mane run. It was just too intelligent from him. Correct timing, and Fabinho really found him very well. So that's one of the disadvantages of playing a low block, and it was Mourinho's mistake to go with that. I
I,
really
I think Ajay, just like you expected Anderson, Jose Mourinho, that is, to start.
the team. I was really surprised that both Pogba and Mata were not starting because they
absolutely.
both they had both played. United might have created something. Herrera shouldn't play, man. Not at this level. Herrera and Lukaku. I didn't really expect both of them to play, but
I think Lingard was good. He was a bit lively.
Lingard was okay, I suppose. But yeah, Pogba and Mata should have played, I guess.
Hmm.
Uh, the other goals by Shaqiri, that he's a player who, yeah, he's definitely a contender for a signing up along with Torreira and maybe I don't know Allison for sure. But He indicates what we lacked in those 2 seasons where we actually challenged for the title back in 2008-9 and in 13-14. Now we have a depth. We have an attacking depth in our squad, which we lacked in those 2 seasons. We needed more goals, and Klopp would actually find a player like Shaqiri to bring him on, and he did the job well. Again, those two deflected goals, again, that is just a byproduct of employing a low block strategy, and it did work. Uh,
And Puneet, going straight to you after hearing from Ajay, talking about the team selection where he said Mata, everyone was surprised that Mata was on the bench, especially when we spoke about in the preview how things could go through Mata, the attacking things could go through Mata. And so talk me through what you felt what happened in the 90 minutes, especially from the team selection to the first few minutes and then the first goal where you all afforded a lot of space to Fabinho and obviously the finish from Mane.
Right. So, firstly, they were very good today, and at least the first 20-25 minutes, I think any kind of tactic that Jose had gone in with was thrown out of the window because of the way the quick nature of the way that they started. They went all guns blazing. I don't think the formation was wrong. 3-5-2 is a decent formation for the squad that we have. Definitely, Mata should have started. Who do you drop then? I think then you have to drop a Lukaku, but then I think Herrera was essential, especially if you're playing a 3-5-2 when you're playing Matic, Herrera in the center of the midfield, and Dalot and Young. Robertson had tremendous impact in the game. I think Jose has just come out with a comment, and I was reading that he can't believe how much Robertson actually ran, and even with or without Dalot, he was bombarding down with the runs. Ajay made a very good point that when you're playing with a low block, right? So the space afforded to the likes of Fabinho, and I don't think so Jose had accounted for Fabinho playing a ball the way he did. And then Young actually slept with Mane's run. I think that's just a poor defensive error again. I know it's a low block. I know it's like defense first and then allowing Mane to get in, but it's something that you have to capture there. Mane and Salah and Firmino's will keep coming from out to in rather than gushing in through. So I think it's an important point to note that Klopp has actually beaten Jose, or he had a better of Jose tactically today, and especially after Shaqiri came in. Once Shaqiri came in. Yeah, so he tried getting Dalot out and getting Fellaini in so that he can pack the midfield. What Shaqiri did with the shots that he took in the box was that he, as Robertson got freer, Damian had no one to support him. Herrera had to take care of either of Wijnaldum, Keita, or Shaqiri or Fabinho at one or the other time, and you cannot just allow. And then Robertson had a lot of space again. Ball went to Shaqiri, ball went to Firmino, ball went to Salah, and both goals were deflected. I still think on any given day it could have been 1-1 because you see 36 shots, and I'm not in any way discrediting Liverpool. I think they were very good. They were very good, and they deserved to win. The kind of shots they had and the kind of luck that they had, it could have easily been 1-1. It's that's that kind of a day, and this is that kind of a season for Jose going on. That all his tactics are going out of the window. Either of Pogba, Mata should have started. That is a definite tactical mistake that I think he has done because of the kind of ball carrier, the way we are discussing, and we had discussed it in the preview as well. So yeah, so a lot of credit to Klopp throughout the game.
And Supro, let's talk about the Ajay. There's something Ajay would like to add.
Yeah, that one point that Puneet made about on some other day it might have ended 1-1. That bit of luck that we had. I wouldn't really call it a luck. It was a total dominant performance. You allow a team 33. What it was? What 34,
36.
5 shots?
36.
Yeah, 36 shots. Some of them are bound to go in, and
Correct.
15 shots on target. 11, 12. I don't know. I haven't read those stats, but
how many do you remember? That? And I'm not.
Yeah,
but how many do you remember De Gea saving?
Yeah, I think he saved 1 or 2.
Barring the goals.
Yeah, definitely.
3, 4. That's what. I'm not saying it's y'all obviously deserve to win with the balance of play in general, but I think because he sat out with that tactic in general, like allow them to shoot. Some of them are definitely born to go in, and a lot of the shots were taken by the Fabinhos, Manes, and Firminos from outside the box, which actually was again not discrediting, but that was actually almost a tactic of Jose. It's not a good tactic to play with because that's the way he plays. And I remember I saw Pep's tactic against Klopp as well, and he did not go all out, all guns blazing this time too, because every man has learned that you burn your fingers, burn your toes, burn everything when you play Liverpool at their own tactic. And so initially I wasn't that sort of surprised with the tactic or sort of unconfident about the tactic. That's just what happened, man. But complete credit to Klopp, and I'm telling you, it's a more tactical win for Klopp than anything else.
Yeah, last year United came at the Emirates and we had 33 shots on target.
Yeah.
And we lost 3-1. So.
Yeah, and Supro, going straight to you on this one. Comment. How do you comment on Manchester United performance? Because I am eager to hear that line from you. And secondly, that sole United goal. Gifted to them. On that, a comment on that or two, and overall your assessment of a totally dominant Liverpool performance, which we saw today. How do you take me through that?
Yeah, before I answer that, there are a couple of comments regarding Puneet in the chat box. One of them is Tejas Shetty, who says, "Hi Puneet," and the other one, Fahim Qureshi, who asks, "Puneet, how do you think United players were dishonest today?"
No, man. No. That I'll just, you can't be feeling that. I don't think so. Everyone had a good, everyone gave their 100%. You see that's the quality. Roy Keane has actually said, and I remember Prasad saying Roy Keane is in the studio today. Roy Keane has actually come out saying that some of the players just don't deserve to play for United. And that's true. That's 100% true. And not because of their 100% or the desire, but it's just because of the quality. I don't think so. What should I say? A Young ever starts, a Dalot ever starts this game. Lindelof by Matic perhaps might start this game. Lingard perhaps, he got the goal, he doesn't start. Lukaku has been terrible with his first touch. Most of the players don't start a game for United in a big game for Liverpool. So if you have so much lacking quality, then you are in very big trouble, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which showed. They are much better in quality, man. And more cohesive as a unit.
Yeah, that lack in quality in the United squad is absolutely down to Jose Mourinho, for sure.
No, man. We've had a couple of very bad windows. I won't see. I myself am not a supporter of him right now, especially after a game like this. But we have just too many windows where we have bought in players without any reason. We got in Schneiderlin, Rojo, Blind one window. We've got Pogba, Lukaku, Fred. Why? I mean, are you thinking that we want? If even for now, for that example, when he got Fred, he was assured that he's getting a centre back, and then he did not get a centre back. So when you're buying players, when you all got Shaqiri, you all knew he was a Salah backup, or he was someone who will absolutely bring in that strength and energy, which is what is happening, right? So you all know your Keita is exactly the 3-man midfield that you all play, and he brings in a lot of energy, and he moves in on the left, which allows Robertson to go into space, which is very well thought of. I don't think so. Most of our signings are not thought of. Lukaku and Pogba, perhaps he was strengthening the center of the midfield, but again, then what else have you bought in to make sense to you at all?
Yeah, if Pogba isn't starting, Puneet, a cheeky 8 to 12 million bid from Unai Emery is coming right away. So
12.000, like the one you put on Suarez.
So Supro, back to you again then on the game, and from the viewers have messaged me personally saying that they want to hear you start with the trademark line on United's performance, and then just assess us through the 90 minutes what you felt.
Yeah, that was another abject performance by Manchester United. Before we went live, I was on Twitter and I saw this video with Roy Keane and Graham Souness on Sky Sports. And Graham Souness clearly pointed out that Manchester United didn't create any chances. They were trying to, disturb Liverpool's play and pick on that and try to counter on that. So on the balance of players, Puneet rightly said that Liverpool deserve to win this game. And as far as the tactic goes, I put this question to Puneet as in whether Manchester United will go with the long ball tactic or whether they will counter press. And they didn't go with neither. They went with the same or simple park the bus, just park it so big so that Liverpool have no space to exploit. A 3-5-2 formation, only the fullbacks on the outside covering the center spaces so that they gave the outside to Liverpool and tried to cover the center spaces. I think Jose also didn't anticipate how good Fabinho was on the ball with regards to his passing and everything. Because so far we know Fabinho has a very good DM who could break play and allow Liverpool to counter attack in a blitzkrieg speed. So that pass for Mane was simply superb.
Mm.
And United's goal came through that luck where Lukaku hit it to Alisson, who spilled it, and Lingard was there to pounce on it. Just like our mistake versus Manchester United at Old Trafford, where Kolasinac could clear the ball and Lingard pounced on that as well. So I think United were very lucky to go 1-1 at halftime. They should have
Yeah.
been 2-0, 3-0 down.
Yeah.
And in the second half, Manchester United, it was very clear from them that they wanted to protect this result. They wanted to go
with a
1-1
1-1.
full
Yeah.
time at full time as well. So their park was completely. Lukaku was playing so deep. Rashford was playing very deep. Rashford was playing on the left, I think. Rashford and Lingard. So it was basically a 5-4-1. Five players, five defenders, two midfielders, two wingers, and one Lukaku, and they were defending like that. It was so deep, and obviously Liverpool trying to score a goal through long shots. Lauren took one, then Henderson came later, and he was taking. But by that time, obviously Shaqiri had scored two goals, two fantastic goals, and one was a deflection.
A super sub performance.
So was the
Just
performance.
what's needed from the manager.
I think the best signing of the season has to be between him and Torreira at the moment. I mean, he has been so impactful for Liverpool against Burnley. Then at home, they won a certain game where he came off the bench and impacted the game. I don't remember the opponent, but Huddersfield, yeah, Huddersfield.
Hey, that was Huddersfield away. He
No, there was one result where Liverpool won 4-1. I think Cardiff.
assisted.
Cardiff, yeah. So I mean, his impact has been really superb. For 13.5 million, a great steal by Liverpool in this market, and Manchester United's chances are definitely over for the top four. 19 points off the top, 11 points of Chelsea, who are fourth at the moment. And things are looking really bleak for Manchester United at the moment. I don't know whether they will sack Jose or not at this point of time. Whether they'll keep it till the end of the season, where they're mathematically confirmed of not calling for the top four. It definitely won't win the Champions League. I don't think so. Not because they don't have the quality, because they don't have the spirit at the moment. They completely lack confidence. They have no trust in their ability. I mean, this was the same Manchester United side that went to Anfield last season and got a nil-nil draw. And I remember that Lukaku had this one-on-one shot with I don't know who the keeper was at that time for Liverpool, but United could have snatched that game 1-0. Similar performance, parked the bus, hit on the counter, and they used that same template again tonight. And it was a shadow of a Manchester United team that finished second last season. So yeah, things are looking really bad for Manchester United.
Manchester United finished second last season solely down to De Gea.
That's true.
Well, he was outperforming his
And David De Gea made sure that it was not
Outperformance. That's his level of performance. He is
And
that
Puneet,
good.
yeah, and Puneet, going straight to you after Supro's, analysis, a couple of key points he mentioned there. If Jose will be sacked, but currently down to the situation in the team, how do you think your who is to be blamed for all of this? Is my question again, because obviously there are some egos there in the team, and with Mata not starting, Pogba not starting, at least one of them should have started. And how do you see the January transfer window pan out now that all this has gone? 19 points off the top, 11 points off top four. Absolutely no direction where the club is heading to. And, I saw a tweet from Joe Morrison, saying that if you have to have successful seasons, there needs to be a good coordination between the manager and the chief executive, which at the moment is not seen at United. So, your take on that.
So, as you said, right, no coordination between the top, and it's showing on the field. It's a lot of clubs go through this. I think I mean, the bottom clubs go through this actually, not the top clubs. Uh, your Woodward and Jose aren't on the same line. I don't think so. So as simple as if he wanted to sign a 29-year-old or a 30-year-old in Alderweireld or a Perisic, Woodward wasn't ready because he wanted someone more marketable in a more young squad. But when you've given the reins to a manager like Jose, when you signed him 3 years back, or when you give him a new contract in January, you have to trust him. You have to go all guns in into trusting the, even if it means it's defensive, man. I believe this, and hence, for this point, I will not blame Jose at all, and I blame him for a lot of things. I think I blame him for not starting Mata today, or even for that matter, Pogba, or getting Pogba in for a lot of whatever happens on the pitch is Jose. As much as it is players, and I mean this, I can see players actually not trying or not of being of that quality. But but Jose, so if that is Jose's fault, the entire rest of the bit, and I was discussing this with some, I think it's 50 to 60% board, it's 10 to 20% Jose and 10 to 20% players. That's how I would like to weigh in on what or who's at more fault. Because if you're backing a manager, way if Klopp has been backed, or if Pep has been backed, or even if Emre has been backed, if he says Torreira, you give him Torreira. It's simple as that. You cannot question why Torreira is 31, 29-year-old or 30. Y'all got in Lichtsteiner for free, I think, or 10, 12 million. It's a brilliant signing. It's a brilliant signing. I mean, absolutely brilliant. I think he's going to. It's not always necessary what he adds on the pitch, always, right? He's adding some, and I told you even during the Arsenal game, I think he added a lot of things, that guile, that gut, that how to run over the clock, how to win tackles, how to not allow people to blast him. He's played with the best UA team. He knows he knows how to win titles. He knows how to win a game. He knows how to win big games. So that's why he was signed. There are thoughts going into this, which I don't think happens at United. It's extremely money. It's extremely marketable, and everyone has gone berserk on Jose today, which I don't think is entirely right on him. I don't think so. He's perhaps doing the right things. I think he's done a couple of things which are not entirely. If you're supporting or if you're a manager, you have to first think only of the team, and I question him because I don't think so. He's not that he's not done it, but I sometimes think he tries to put his ego up and say, you know what, I knew I was right, and you cannot do that. You still are playing for the team. So get a technical director. If I was, my biggest January signing would be a director of football. Give us a direction and get Woodward out completely out of the football business. Get a technical director. If he says Jose in, Jose out, that's who he decides. If he says a player is good enough, if he says a player is valuable, that's what he and manager have to sort it out and present it to the board. That's how the overall dynamics of a club should be, and build again. I think the season's gone. I don't think so we are going to even come top fourth with the kind of not mess entirely, but the kind of fuzziness that we have in the entire management. But that's what it is. You have to start somewhere, and you have to start building. And earlier we build, the better. So if you think you trust Jose, and if you think you can get in a Koulibaly, I think Koulibaly won't come into a club like ours currently. This is what even if you give him 100 million and agree to what the Napoli team is asking. But if you are backing Jose, back him entirely and trust him that this player will remain with or without Jose, and get him in January.
So, Ajay, yeah, what would I like to add to that?
Yeah, of course.
Just a second, Ajay, before you start. I think Fahim's asked another question saying,
Yeah.
how good was Fabinho, and how much are you guys impressed with his performance? I mean, he's put it out to everyone.
For sure. Fabinho has definitely been, Klopp really eased him into the team. He didn't start him in the first, 15, 16 games really. But the last 10 games, he's seen more of he's been part of the team more. He's always shown his quality. His first real match was against Red Star at home. And he really played well. We won 4-0, and he was a key part of that team, because of which we won. And he had a slow start. He had that game at Arsenal, which, it wasn't very good, but it's to be expected. But he still improved on that. And today we really saw him, build his authority over the game. He really dominated the midfield. And I'm very sure that this is just the beginning. He will grow more into the team, and we'll see more of such performances from him.
So, guys, one by one, starting from Ajay, any final thoughts on the game? On there are so many for you, Ajay, but any final thoughts on the game
Uh,
and anything that you would like to add more?
about the game, yeah, I think already enough has been said, but just one or two more points. That Allison mistake, the man has really stepped up for us all the season. Matlab, his saves at Chelsea, his saves versus Napoli. Matlab, he's always been there for us, and he's bailed the team out on many occasions. But this time it was the attack that bailed him out. So this mistake, I wouldn't really focus on it. He's not a guy who makes these errors consistently. He's a good goalkeeper, and I really read those reactions on Twitter. Matlab, rival fans are really very reactionary. Matlab,
And it's to second that
Fans, man.
it's that sort of a toxic platform that you obviously wait for such things to happen and then you pounce on it. And
definitely.
it's that kind of a platform these days, that you do something wrong, immediately the reactions are there.
Yeah, I think
And
he was compared to yeah, Alisson in the weekend. Couple of articles by Michael Cox and Jimmy Carragher. They said that Alisson is the best keeper in the Premier League right now, and he's overtaken David De Gea. So I think the Royal fans are pouncing because mainly Manchester United fans are pouncing because of that mistake.
Yeah,
But
I would
yeah,
say that assessment is not really inaccurate based on this season alone. This season alone on form, yeah, I think Allison has performed better. But
yeah.
I'm not going to say that Allison has been better overall over the year. He's performed at this level consistently for nearly 4 5 seasons now. My only point is that uh, let's not really focus on this one mistake of Allison.
mm,
This is not going to happen very often. And yeah, one last thing, credit to Klein. He was out of the team for nearly 4 months this season, and he came in and hardly put a foot wrong
Mm.
defensively.
Yeah.
Body was asked, and yeah, really that was a performance to be recognized, even though it wasn't much like Robertson on the other wing, but a good solid
that's
seven.
it.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's all for Liverpool versus Man United. Liverpool totally dominant there and going back to the top of the Premier League table, unbeaten still. United, meanwhile, are 19 points off the top, 11 points off top four. And we move on to our next game. So we are discussing Southampton versus Arsenal here, and I'd
Let's
like
put
to
that game, please.
pro on the spot for Southampton versus Arsenal. So pro, like we discussed, you and me were on in the preview, missing the three centre halves, the three centre backs. Clearly, a makeshift defense today, and with Zaka slotted in behind. Where do you think it all went wrong? Did it go all wrong from the team selection to the other things in the game?
Team selection, yes, but the three centre backs that were missing, holding because he's out for the season, and Mustafi and Chopra, it costed us heavily. It costed us heavily, and I think we shouldn't have played three at the back for this game because we didn't have the defenders to play three at the back. We played Lichstein at centre back. We played Monreal at centre back. Monreal and Koscielny are just coming out of injuries. Koscielny is coming out of a 7 month layoff, and he was clearly not ready for this kind of a level of game.
Absolutely, yeah.
Southampton, Southampton could score three headers. They haven't scored one header before this game. It shows you how bad Koscielny was today. At fault for all the three goals. And for the third goal, people say that Leno was at fault. Maybe, but you look at Koscielny's positioning. Koscielny was running laterally while Austin was running straight. So much space between Koscielny and Austin. How is he supposed to mark? He doesn't even know that Austin is running behind him. And Leno, he hesitated. He should have stayed on the line. Should he come up? And he went for the second option. And but it was too late, and he considered the third goal. Even in midfield, I think this was one of the poorest games for Guendouzi. He couldn't, dominate the game, or he couldn't impose himself as he often does. There was this one performance against Chelsea, and there's this one performance against Southampton today. There's a difference. And we missed a bit of creativity as well. Mkhitaryan, he didn't do much. He didn't create a lot of chances, but he scored a couple of crucial goals for us. Aubameyang was poor. Iwobi, his decision making is really, really awful. I mean, he's good on the ball. He will get you a couple of nutmegs with his skills and everything, but it comes to the final pass, and he can put a final pass. There's a difference between putting a final pass and deciding how to put one, and he just cannot do that. He just cannot do that. And yeah, in this 20, and this 22 game run that we were on, and it papered over a lot of cracks. And, it wasn't the perfect 22 game run. We didn't lead in the first half at all in these 22 games. Defensively, we were found wanting in a lot of games against Wolves at home, against Huddersfield as well, where
And this game totally is that wake up call that you need to get things right from the start.
yeah,
You need to start well, not wait for the second half to begin. And whatever he's doing, you cannot just put Zaka off his
yeah,
natural position. He clearly could not distribute the ball today. He was restricted to that. And a little too much faith in Gundozi could cost us more.
when Ramsey was available.
Yeah, and I don't know what's wrong with him and Ozil, Emery, Ozil, and Ramsey, but we clearly miss creativity without those two. So there's a lot to rectify before the North London derby. This is like a wake-up call,
Yeah,
and this 22 game so-called unbeaten run is finally over. So we start new from
yeah.
the midweek. And what a game to start then Tottenham, and we'll get back to that eventually. But so that's the end of Arsenal's 22 game unbeaten run, beaten 3-2 by Southampton.
A few
And
words on Southampton's game today, because I honestly didn't have time to watch it. But how is that the new manager doing? How are they?
I think he did his homework pretty well. He attacked,
Oh, is it?
yeah. He attacked us he asked his wingers to put the crosses inside the box because we didn't have an imposing defender.
absolutely.
Our three defenders were Koscielny, Granit Xhaka, and Nacho Monreal.
Hmm.
Okay, Nacho Monreal was playing on the left, so Granit Xhaka, Stephen Lichtsteiner, and Koscielny. And none of them are tall defenders. They can't clear. They will obviously struggle at the air. And
Yeah.
Granit Xhaka, he was poor at centre back. It's not his fault. He's a central midfielder, not a centre back.
Yeah.
If you don't have the players, don't play three at the back. As simple as that. Play 4-2-3-1 or play 4-4-2. Attack that team because they're a relegation contender. They're not in the mid table. So these are defensive negative tactics.
I felt today's loss was down to individual errors by Arsenal's players rather than Southampton's brilliance or something.
Yeah.
For the first goal, I really thought Koscielny could have headed that ball out, and that final goal was obviously Leno's error. But it's cool. It's all right. Players will make mistakes, and we all went on a 22 game unbeaten run, and Emery will build on this. It's okay.
Yeah, and now that the thing that those 22 games had is that many didn't expect that this Arsenal team would be so good. Obviously, like Supro mentioned, the key point that it papered some of the cracks, and some of them were that that they start in the second half and they don't really go at it in the first half. And today's team selection, right from the team selection to everything, to the individual errors, summed up that there's so much work in progress under the new manager.
Yeah.
And we can't really wait for January because before a winger, a centre back should be the top priority, considering the injuries that happen. And Bellerin limped off today, so Bellerin could miss the festive period. And you're not sure of Kolasinac. Monreal is 32, so literally the defense is in shambles, if you ask me. And as much as I said in my tweet, that Koscielny has done so much for the club, but clearly he wasn't ready for today, and he's not PL material. If anyone wants to go at me, can go, but that's my view, that he isn't that PL quality anymore, and we can't rely on him. All the chants aside, everything aside, you need a top centre back there to partner Socrates, for that same Mustafi as well. So
If buy is available in the market, I'll take it in a heartbeat. He was so good today. He was so good.
Yeah,
I had a good game. Yeah.
So Puneet, buy and Koscielny swap.
midweek effort.
Right now, anything right now seems just too muddled. Bad. Just get the club bloody sorted. So, a couple of key things. I think Gary Neville has come out saying that the club were too naive to hand out Jose another contract in January. They knew this
Yeah.
is going to happen. I mean, that's just too. He's just stamping in ahead the point what's actually wrong with the club, and you can see it. It's right from the top, and he's very close to the club. He's very passionate about it.
Yeah, but
So
Puneet, why do you think that he wasn't back in the summer by Edward Woodard? Because
I
it doesn't
think
make
he.
any sense. Well, it doesn't make any sense. You hand him a contract in January, and then you don't buy him the players that he wants. I mean, it doesn't
Correct.
make
Yeah.
any sense at all.
So I think
Yeah.
what's happened here is he because Woodward thinks of money first and the player second or the football second or it does not come natural to him. It's right. I mean you're a financial guy. He wouldn't think of the on ground football stuff naturally or he would want to see. So I think he would have paid an 80 for a Skriniar and not paid 80 for or 60 for an Alderweireld or 50 for an Alderweireld
Because
because he
of
thought
resale
Alderweireld is
value. Because
29.
of resale value.
Exactly. That comes very naturally to him, which is good if you're a financial handler of the club. But it just muddles up with the coach, which is actually happening, and you can see that. And you see, I mean, you see the last 2-3 years signings. Schneiderlin, I think we sold him. Januzaj, we sold him, and there are just. I mean, he's not a signing. Januzaj is a youth product, but
Even Depay,
there. Sorry,
Depay,
yeah, Depay, Blind. These were all half. I mean, like half, are these United quality even now? I wouldn't say Depay for all the good things that he's doing at Lyon. I don't think so. He's United quality even now. So have you thought over through as to what United quality is, two, where you are heading with the club, what kind of structure you're adding? Because if you sign a Jose Mourinho, you know he would actually want two solid centre backs, a brilliant DM. Like these three are his pillars of any squad that he's ever built. He's
Uh,
going to need them
yeah.
irrespective. So
Even
if you're not going
Smalling,
to give him that,
yeah, yeah. Even Smalling extended his contract yesterday. I don't think it is Jose's decision to extend Smalling's contract.
whosoever decision it is, I mean, now if you don't sell Jones and Rojo after this season, I mean, then again,
Yeah.
man, only God can save us again. I mean, that you're just then trusting too much on individual quality, which is actually happening. So Martial played well a few games, we got saved out of few games because as a team you're not good enough or you don't have that quality, and that's what's happening for a couple of years, and this is just uh, like a pile up of all the mess that has happened.
uh,
And guys,
one point,
some
just
Ajay, before
just one
yeah,
point.
go on.
That one point that you made, Puneet, that the board is more to blame than Jose. That's something I don't agree with. I think uh, Jose is the main reason. I would proportionate more blame to Jose rather than the board. He has been financially backed the first two seasons. The players that United buy are not without his consent. Uh, I actually see, like you rightly pointed out, that Ed Woodward would rather have a screener rather than an aging Alderweireld for 50 million. I actually see sense. It's a, actually a sensible call by Ed, but it's not that he has not been backed. Jose has not been backed.
You're paid for 75 for Van Dijk. See, that's because that's a very good decision.
Yeah, but
Jose is at fault at when you've got a set of players, now make them play the best at it. So that, if you're calling that a fault, that is a fault. But when you've asked for a player, right? When you've asked for a player and you've given him a contract in January, you tell him in January, you know what? I still want to see you till the second year. If you come second only, then will I hand you over the money? That makes a lot of sense.
correct.
That's what I'm talking. That's sense. That's sense. That's what. So Klopp or a Pep, you will still sign players who are not going to be good. Fabinho was given in time to sort of build his squad and then sort of make it happen. But
But
that's what happened.
yeah, but you are actually expecting a club to splash out 100 million pounds every summer.
No, absolutely not. But 75 million on the player he needs. You get that? That's the point. Pogba and Lukaku are still good players.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that those are bad signings. They're not playing well. It's fine. They're still good players. Salah wasn't playing well. He was still playing well. He's still his player. He's still his kind. It's fine. He would still play them. And if
my
he's played
question is,
in matches and he's not been playing well, that's the point.
but my question is are signings really needed for a manager to do well? he already has a good squad. The
If you're
results.
expecting, if you're expecting to win the title, if you're so it's your example. You all are playing perhaps the best football you have played in the last 3 4 years. It is because of Van Dijk and Alisson's stability that they've added.
Defensively, yeah. My point is, look at, as an example, I would actually say look at Pochettino. All right, he didn't really have anybody, but he still managed to get the best out of his squad, the best out of his players available. That's my point. Jose has failed to do that. That's my only point. And it's not that he has not been backed at all. The first 2 seasons he has been backed. Yeah, this season he was not, but that doesn't really mean that he doesn't have the squad. The performances that the team is putting is not at all at par with what the quality the team shows. That's my only point.
Yeah. Puneet,
And
Are your thoughts?
Puneet.
I think he has gone offline for a minute, so we can discuss something else.
Yeah, so guys, before till Puneet is back, like we were on the Southampton versus Arsenal game, and Ajay, Man City versus Everton was another game from the weekend
Yep.
where Man City won 3-1, and Everton were. So, how do you assess that game? Obviously, we were at it that they would be thrashed, and and actually, for the first few minutes, Everton were in shape, but then the City, with their quality, got behind them and just finished the game off.
Uh, I didn't actually watch the game, but I actually read a couple of pieces on that game. Everton had actually outperformed City's expected goals by what? Uh, I think by 1 point something, which is a huge deal. City are not really outperformed by any team usually, especially at Etihad. And Everton managed to do that. Had they finished better, we would have seen a different result. But it was a good performance. It was a better performance than what was expected from Everton. But as we always know, City have the quality to do well. They they kept their cool. They were composed and got the result that they needed. But
Absolutely.
yeah, but it's very important for Liverpool to stay on top of him for as long as possible because the pressure can get to you when you are chasing a team, right? It can get to you. We saw it last week when they were playing Chelsea. We were already ahead of them by a point. They had to get a result at Chelsea to even match us. And we have a game. We have a game against Wolves on Friday evening. On Friday evening. So if we win it, we are 4 points ahead of them, and it will be very interesting to see how City cope up with that.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And, the game between them, City Liverpool, Jan 4th, will be like a decider.
for
Will be like, who takes the reins forward in the new year. And, it's been that kind of a week, Supro, where
Yeah.
Tottenham scrapped through and Arsenal succumbed to a defeat. And City and Liverpool have won their games. United have succumbed to yet another defeat. And we have the League Cup in midweek,
Yeah.
where we have the North London Derby, Supro. And the focus turns straight to you for
Yeah.
this game. What do you see the starting lineup in midweek, and who would you like to see start the game from the beginning?
I'm not sure whether he will go with the back three or back four this time. So I'm, putting my lineup out on the basis of a back four. I'll put that Steiner, I'll put Socrates, I'll put Mustafi and Kolasinac as my back four. Keeper, maybe Sheikh comes in because the League Cup, so rotation will take place. In the midfield, Torreira has to start. Big game. We need his presence. Torreira and Xhaka. And maybe Mesut Ozil gets his chance in this game. He has been benched and injured for a lot of games. So I think,
Number 10.
yeah, Mesut Ozil at the number 10 position. Up front, I think he might start with Lacazette because Lacazette has been benched for a couple of games, so he might give him game time. Emery, that is, and Aubameyang might be rested for the weekend's game versus Burnley. Uh,
Was Ozil in the squad today, Supro?
yeah,
Was Ozil in the squad today?
yeah, he came on. Yeah, and
No.
he had a 15-minute cameo. That's it. And on the wings, I don't know, maybe he will surprise us with a start for Saka because he was very impressive against Carabao. But it could be a game too big for the occasion for him, and Maybe he starts Iwobi and Mkhitaryan. So yeah, I think it will be a strong lineup because Tottenham is a North London derby. Even Son was benched for Tottenham this weekend, so I expect him to start versus Arsenal. And even
Sean Eriksson, yeah, correct. Sean
Tottenham
Eriksson.
will go with a strong team in the derby.
And it's been that kind of a weekend, and the other games are Chelsea versus Leicester City.
But Chelsea
So
versus
that
Bournemouth. No, sorry, Chelsea. Wait, Chelsea
Chelsea,
play Man City.
Chelsea, yeah, Man City, yeah, correct.
Chelsea play Bournemouth.
Yeah, correct. Chelsea play Bournemouth and Man City play Leicester. So that's that kind of a League Cup midweek that we have. And Ajay, going straight to you on the North London derby after the weekend's result. What do you expect from this big League Cup match?
Uh, Honestly, I think you guys would have been far more happier if there was no match midweek, seeing that half of your squad is gravely injured.
Yeah,
This was a match that y'all could have done without, rather than just because the festive period is coming up. Your team is already very deeply injured, and okay, that's so stupid. Uh, there are plenty of players that are injured, and you have very important games coming up. You have a game against us, for fuck's sake. This was a unnecessary distraction for you at this moment, but it's a North London derby. It will lift spirits. It comes at the right time because right after you defeat, this is a game that you can look to bounce back from. So I would, uh, I think Emery would seriously rotate. I think Emery would rotate, and so will Spurs actually. But I'm expecting a Spurs win in this one because you guys just have too many injuries to deal with.
I put it going straight to you after Ajay on that North London Derby League Cup
Yes,
prediction.
couple of things. So, do you think he'll start with the team he started against Carabao, Lacazette and Ozil to start? And
I think it will be a full strength squad,
oh,
considering
is it
that
okay?
Socrates will be back. Yeah,
Okay,
and
okay.
hopefully we can see one of Ramsey or Ozil. I think
I
Ozil
think
starts and Ramsey comes in as a sub in the second half. That's the way I see things going.
Oh, okay. So I think one, he's very good in cup competitions, Emre. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's targeting this cup very seriously. So as you said, he'll go in full throttle with his squad. It's at Emirates, so it's going to be like full support to you all. And uh, I'm predicting an Arsenal victory, man. I'm predicting an Arsenal. I know there are a lot of injuries. Tottenham also can do without a lot of cups because I don't think so. They have the squad. And just to get back to the squad question, I think Tottenham's first team is better than I think Tottenham's first team is top three in the country, and just below Liverpool. I think City, Liverpool, and if you count only the top 15, top 14 players, including the Son and Lamelas, I think Tottenham would come third or fourth in the country without a shadow of doubt. And hence, if Tottenham play put their full strength, and if you all play a squad which is weaker, then Tottenham might win. But I am predicting an Arsenal victory here because
yeah.
I don't think he'll play full strength because he will be concentrating on the Champions League and the league to come in the top four again.
Going straight to Supro on the prediction from the North London Derby.
Yeah, Arsenal victory. I don't know the scoreline, but it will be an Arsenal victory.
And
And if we knock them out, the season is over. They won in the league. They won in the Champions League. So
we will be reviewing that in the midweek, and obviously
yeah,
we will be previewing the weekend, and we might just preview the Christmas games, the games from Christmas in the next episode, on the next weekend, because it's a busy festive period that's coming our way. And if you've missed this episode, here's a quick reminder that Liverpool beat Man United 3-1. They are on top of the league. City 3-1 winners over Everton, and they're second, with Spurs scrapping through a win over Burnley that puts them in third, and Chelsea meanwhile won at Brighton, Supro,
yeah,
and that puts them in fourth. Arsenal's first defeat since their defeat at Stamford Bridge means that they remain fifth, and United are sixth. That is all from the games in the EPL. and the League Cup. So, guys, it was another fun episode discussing the big one, Liverpool versus Man United. And I hope we get to see this lineup in future for all the episodes as well. So, any
Prasad,
final thoughts, Supro, as we go off?
yeah, Prasad, before we go, Puneet is in a lot of demand in this live chat. So there's one more question for him by Prathamesh. Key players that United would like to sign in this transfer window.
Yeah.
Way too many, man. I mean, again, I think most important player that we should sign, most important person that we should sign is the director of football. Give a direction, because that for me is again the biggest issue. It's not about a player. It's not about the money. It's about the direction where the club is going with what you're signing. If none of this happens, sign in Koulibaly for 100 million, because I think he's going to be required for any manager. A centre back is irrespective of who comes in or whether Jose stays or not. Koulibaly will strengthen any squad in the world. I might say he's that good. I don't think so. We'll get Koulibaly for 100 million as well. I think what we'll end up signing is Alderweireld. Whether he would want to come is secondary, man. I don't know whether they would want to come now. I don't know whether we are also interested in Ramsey. I've heard. I don't know whether how true are those rumors, but yeah. So that's what it is. One player to sign, definitely Koulibaly. For irrespective of the amount, 100 million, hands down, take him.
Now, Alderweireld hasn't started a lot of games for Tottenham, so if
Correct.
United
So that
offer the right price, they might sell him, especially the
yeah, I think
investment
they'll
and everything is going.
true. That's true. Yeah. So close to 50, I think we'll get Alderweireld. But
Yeah, yeah.
if I'm Edward Wood, I'll sign Koulibaly.
And Puneet, anything on Harry Maguire?
No man.
Anything? Nothing?
One, he does improve the centre backs of our squad, which was presumably taken in as he won't sort of change anything, because that's how uh, disorganized we are. That's how poor Jones, Smalling, and Rojo are. Bailly was very good. I think Lindelof also. So Bailly, Lindelof, and Smalling can be the rest of the three, and hence we need a leader. I think we seriously lack a strength in the center of the park, strength to galvanize the team when there are situations like these. Like, you know what, Lingard and Pogba have come under a lot of criticism for what they did. I think Lingard had his launch this week, his collection launch, and Pogba obviously for how he portrays himself on social media. We genuinely need someone to not stop them, but just give them a bit of that, because they're young. So that's why I said there are players like the Van Dijks, the Lichtsteiners, the Fernandinhos, the companies of the world who improve the squad, not necessarily on the pitch. That's why Zlatan was so very highly rated by squad. And I remember Pogba idolizing Zlatan a lot, and that's when he had a decent season, because such players give you a lot of strength. Such players give you direction. Such players give you. They lift you up when you're not doing well. So, and we need that, right in the center of the pitch. Diego Godin, for that matter, if someone can sign him, I think again all top four Premier Leagues would sign him in the blink of the eye, because that's how nastily good he is.
Yeah. And Ajay, is there any rumor on? Is there any truth in the Pulisic rumors?
I think he ends up at Chelsea. Uh, I don't think we are looking to buy anybody this January window. Chelsea might, so I don't think he's going to come to Liverpool.
Hmm. And that's about it from Liverpool versus United. So Liverpool are on top. We are heading towards a busy festive period.
January? No? Anyone?
Arsenal in January, a top centre back is the priority. But
Gary Cahill.
you know,
You see,
Krajonki would just be interested in buying a new house, a new bungalow, a villa in US. And if he has money to give, then he might. And we might see who Emery gets, or there will be an. What I say, put in a bid for Pogba and buy, double swap. Put in a bid for buy and. So that's how things are, right? And Supro, considering the fact,
almost become a
you know,
like meme club, man, these days. Well, all guys are like absolutely having a blast, aren't you?
and it's one of these days that has happened to United is that when we lose, they can't mock us. The United fans can't mock us because considering the fact that we are some 9 points ahead of them, eight or 9 points, I guess. Yeah, and that's the thing I have been with. These are the days I have been waiting for. But there are many more things, to discuss in future, and we are obviously, as I said, heading to a busy festive period. So, guys, we'll see you again next weekend, probably after the Spurs versus Everton game, and that will be a review episode and a preview episode from the festive period, from the Boxing Day games. So looking forward to that. And look, it's been a very good episode. We have always had so many fun episodes, and Puneet's been in good demand this episode on the live chat. So good job, Puneet. And Ajay has been fantastic as usual with his analysis on Liverpool and other games. And Supro's been Supro with his trademark abject United performance that deserves an Oscar from me. So I'm your unbiased host Prasad Bhutkar, signing off. See you all next
Cheers.
weekend.
Thank you.
Uh,
Bye.